All right. All right, so the question was, which kanda is this? And show you the picture of a lady with different faces, right? So she was reacted, right? So there are 5 aggregates called khandas. Out of that, when you react, you are generating sankhara, right? In Pali, sankhara means reactant, right? So those represent whatever reaction you do, those represent the sankhara khanda. Okay, so not rupa khanda. So a lot of you picked rupa khanda. Now this is not rupa khanda. This is sankhara khanda because she was reacting to different feelings or experience. So sanya khanda means memory. Vedana khanda means feeling or experience. Rupa khanda means your 6 sense organ or your bodily khanda or your body aggregate. Now sankhara khanda is your reaction. Okay. So as a Buddhist, understanding the 5 aggregates are very important. Okay. So that's the reason why we're going over this again and again and again till you really get it. All right. Oh, wow. Men, congratulations.
No.
You're brand new students and you got the best score. Good job. Kevin, Marina, Nolan, welcome to the leaderboard. All right, this is a little challenging question and a lot of you got it right. So we discussed about whether the heart or the brain, which one is more powerful for us. And we discussed about vagus nerve, a nerve that supply our heart. So initially, long time ago, we thought that brain is the one sending signal controlling the heart. But later we found out that actually that the vagus nerve is an afferent nerve, basically means it's carrying the signal from the heart to the brain, telling us that our heart and the brain works together. And there are a lot of evidence that the brain actually is just a relay center. It does not do the controlling. Okay, so the vagus nerve sends signal from the brain to the heart and from the heart to the brain. So the reason why we discuss about this is because Buddha mentioned that our mind initiated somewhere in the heart. not from the brain like our science suggests today. Okay, so a lot of you got it right. Okay, now the vagus nerve does not help your mind think. Right, very good. Let's see. All right, Miranda, Coco, Jackson, Chad, welcome to the leaderboard. Minister Leaden. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so the question is, why are the eyes, ears, nose, tongue, mouth, lips, and hands big in this picture? So the picture we discussed in detail last week, right? So those represent 5 senses, to emphasize the 5 senses. And also it represents the cause of attachment that we have, right? So these 2 are the right answer. And someone picked this one. Okay, let's see. All right, kind, good job. One all the way up. Kathleen, Michelle, Yadi, Coco, very good. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, so the question asks, by showing you the picture of the brain, what does the homunculus or the little brain or the little man in our brain represent? Just like the picture that you just saw with the big mouth and big lips and eyes and ears and hands, our brain represents the same way. So in our brain, the portions are divided in such a way that it is proportionate to the organs that are most commonly used. Basically, those are the 5 sense organs, right? That in our brain, in medicine, in anatomy, is called homunculus. Okay. So some of you picked this answer also. Just by knowing the picture alone, you will not escape from suffering. If you think that if you just know that picture alone, you will escape from suffering, all the doctors will be liberated. Okay, including all the other religions, right? Whether, because every single doctor will have to understand this anatomy of the brain, but very, very few doctors are liberated, right? So just because they understand the anatomy of the brain and why the homunculus represent this way doesn't necessarily mean that they will be liberated. Okay, same thing. They will not understand how it explains in Buddhism. All right, Kathleen, going all the way up. Yeti, good job. Pat, come back up. Very good. Michelle and Coco, good. All right, so the question is, when you're born, your head is bigger than your body. So the answer is correct, right? Relatively, the moment that you're born, your head is the biggest. It is even bigger than your body. Okay, very good. All right, Cuckoo is going all the way up. Joe, welcome to the board. The restaurant changed. All right. All right, so the question is that male and female image, we are one. Is that a homunculus image? Not really, because homunculus basically means the little man in the brain. So it has to be part of the brain. So it was not. So the answer, the correct answer is no. All right, Cuckoo going all the way up. Sophia won. Welcome to the leaderboard. Jojo going up. And Jaime, welcome to the board. Right. So the question is, brain is the one that controls each and every part of your body. The answer is wrong. That's what the Western science believe in.
Is control meant to be spelled like that? Or is it like a mistake?
At the meeting, go ahead, I'm sorry.
The controls. It's missing.
Yeah, okay, the spelling was wrong. You're right. Yeah. So, okay, that wasn't, okay, O was dropped. But the brain does not control each and every single part of the body, because there are part of the body that the heart controls, okay? Especially if we're talking about Buddhism, you will learn later. We discussed about that a lot last week too. I show you the website, the Brain Math Institute. Okay. How many of you actually look at that website? The Brain Math Institute, the Heart Math Institute, not Brain Math Institute. Okay. Maybe you guys are busy. All right. Okay. Amy going up, and Ricky, welcome to the board. Good job. This is a very challenging question, I think. So the question, show you the picture of people reacting to the durian fruit. And the question is, which khandhas are most obvious here out of the 5 khandhas? Okay. So because they are reacting, right? Obviously, that's the Sankara khandha, right? They react by, or they are really liking it, enjoying the fruit, right? That's for sure Sankara khandha. But that happened because they have some kind of memory from before. Oh, it's a bad smell. It's like poop or gas. Oh, it's a delicious smell. It's delicacy. So they have some kind of memory. So they have that sanya khandha. And definitely they have an experience, right? or feeling. That is the Vedana Khanda. Now the questions that most obvious. Now Rupa Khanda here is not just described on the picture itself. It is included. So every single thing we do, all the khandas are included. Everything you do, doesn't matter what you do. But the question asks which are most obvious. Okay, that's why. Very good. All right, so if you want going to the top, Yadi coming up, Michelle, Don, very good. Let's go through this. Okay, this should be easy, but probably some of you thought that maybe not all four are correct, but there are 5 applications, right? So Rupa Khanda, Vedana Khanda, Sanya Khanda, Sankhara Khanda, so all 4 of are in that, right? The only thing is not included here is what? Sankhara Khanda is not in here, right? The rest are here. Very good. All right, Ted's going all the way up. Ricky going all the way up. Coco going up. Sophia and Yadi still on the leaderboard. Good job. All right, so this is the picture that we discussed deeply last week. How many of I asked you to discuss this picture with your parents? Raise your hand. How many of you, if you discuss with your parent? Very good. And I got only William sent me the homework to my email. So, but some of you did discuss with your mom and dad. That's good. Okay. So this picture, if you just look at it and you feel it's weird and disgusting. So that basically you're looking at the conventional truth. Okay, not ultimate truth. Okay. We don't talk about subjective or objective truth in Buddhist discussion. So there are only conventional truth, the ultimate truth, and this represent conventional truth. All right. All right. So if you want going up, you're going back up. The rest are unchanged.
Last question.
All right. Final question. Okay, so the question is, what should you work out more? Which one should you work out more, your body or your brain? So the correct answer is should be fairly balanced depending on your age and situation. So when you're young, you might have to do both equally. Okay, or it also depends on the situation. On the days that you have a final exam tomorrow, maybe you skip your physical exercise and just study. All right. On the days that you're far away from your exam and test, maybe you do it equally. So it depends on the situation. So that's why the word balance is very important here. If you just do only physical exercise, don't go to school, don't study, then your life will be horrible, right? Or if you just become a bookworm and you don't do any physical exercise, you will not be healthy. So it has to be balanced, right? Now, why not both equally here is because certain situations make you to study only. Certain situations make you to just do exercise. So you got to be balanced and use your judgment.
Beautiful.
All right. Tap that place. Good job. Sophia win. Second place. Good job. Ricky. First one. Very good. And Yeti and Brenda run up. Very good. So this week we are going to learn about relationship between the 12 links of dependent origination and the 5 aggregates or the khandas. So those of you who remember about 12 links of dependent origination, let's recite this together. Vishya Sankara, Sankara Pishya Vijnana, Vijnana Pishya Nama Rupa, Nama Rupa Pishya Salayadana, Salayadana Pishya Paso, Pasa Pishya Vedana, Vedana Pishya Dana, Dana Pishya Upadana, Upadana Pishya Bhavo, Bhava Pishya Jati, Jadi Pisya Sharam Marana Soga Dewa Dukkha Dominasa Upayasa Sambhavanti. So if you recall, if you don't understand this 12 links of dependent origination, you cannot call yourself a Buddhist, because this concept is very important as a Buddhist. Now, the 5 aggregates that we have been discussing is as important because it's also explained about this. So you really need to understand the relationship between this 12 links of dependent origination and the 5 aggregates that we're talking about. Okay, so we're going to dig a little deeper into the relationship between the 12 links of dependent origination and the 5 aggregates. So because it was just Pali, I just want to make sure that you understand, especially those of you who haven't got the lecture from me on 12 links of dependent origination. So avijja here, meaning delusion or lack of knowledge. Pishya means lead to. Whenever you see the word pishya means lead to, give rise to. So avijja, pishya, sankhara. Avijja means delusion or lack of knowledge. Pishya means lead to or gives right to. Sankhara means to react. If you don't have knowledge, you always react. Now, when you react, when you generate sankhara, that sankhara will in turn gives right to a type of mental energy called vijnana. Okay, now that mental energy will give right to mind and body receptors. Now, when this mind and body receptor gives right to 6th sense organ modulation, they change it, the receptor in your 6th sense organs. Now, whenever those six sense organs has any contact with the respective stimuli, meaning if your eye sees something that you like or you don't like, if your tongue tastes something that you like or you don't like, if your ear hears something that you like or you don't like, then that is called phassa. Now that phassa gives you the experience of feeling, vedana. That vedana will lead you to craving called tanha. Now craving multiple times will give you to clinging. You don't want to let go. You're clinging, you're grasping it. Now that clinging will lead you to a new formation. What is new form? Newly forming. Newly forming, giving birth. Whenever you give birth, it's a given that you will go through this process of old age, death, grief, sorrow, suffering. And that's what 12 links of dependent origination describe. Okay, now we're going to relate between these 12 links of dependent origination and 5 aggregates that we have in London. All right, so look at this picture. How many of you feel like this when you see or smell durian? Raise your hand. Okay, probably half of you. All right. So a lot of people, especially in Western world, those of you who are born here, don't like this fruit because it smells like poop or gas. Okay. Well, a lot of you who are born in Burma or Asian country, this is a delicacy. Your parents love it. They pay a lot of money to eat this fruit, a lot of money. Okay. So, but this country, look at this guy, he's puking, right? Just by getting the smell. Now let's compare that to this guy. How many of you feel like this guy? Raise your hand. Okay, so some of you really like this fruit. Now, what's the difference? How come these guys react this way and this guy react this way? Anyone would like to volunteer? Marina?
So the thing is like, the Americans they do, so they think it smells like some like something bad, but the other people from the other side they like it a lot.
Very good. Now let's relate that to either 5 aggregates or 12 links of dependent origination. Ricky.
Maybe like past memory, the people from western side of the place, they don't like it because they've smelled something or tasted something like that was bad for them. But from the people in the eastern side, they like it because there's not much of that in wherever they live, and it tastes and smells good for them.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. So past memory. So what aggregate is that? What khanda is that? Memory. Yes.
Reaction experience.
It's a memory. So that's the sanya khanda, right? Sanya, right? Memory. So now let's look at it from 12 links of dependent origination. Which link explain you this. Which part of 12 links do you notice here? Now, what do you see here? Macy, read the benefits, health benefits of the durian.
Increase immunity, cure
Anemia.
anemia, improve bone health, improve sleep quality, maintain blood pressure, fight free radicals, improve digestion, slow the aging effect, protect from cancer.
Isn't that good? Yes, it is good, right? So if you understand the health benefits, even if you might feel like this, will you react like this? You might not anymore. You might say, you know what, I might not like the smell, but I still will eat this because these are great benefit of this fruit. It will increase my immunity and fight COVID, right? It will cure anemia, meaning low blood cells. It will improve my bone. I will sleep better. My blood pressure will be better. Free radicals are the ones that make us to be old, right? So this is the same thing as the slow the aging effect, right? It will help with my digestion and will even protect me from any type of cancer. Now, this knowledge will change your mindset, right? So what is this link? George, what is this link? The knowledge gives you power, right? So Awasia, right? Knowledge leads you to intellect. Now you don't have any knowledge of this. All you are reacting is just with the smell alone, right? I'm sure a lot of you guys have been sick at one point in life. Yes? Yeah. And there are certain medicine that your parents give you, awful, right? Some medicines are okay, but there are some medicines that smell bad. I don't want to take it, right? But you have no other choice because you know that your parents give that to you to protect you from not getting sicker, to make you feel better, to recover quicker. Now, if you have that knowledge, that you will not react like this anymore. You'll say, you know what? Hey, you will intellectually act and you will eat it, right? So here, the lack of knowledge leads you to react because they don't have this knowledge. Now, this guy, either he likes it by nature, or he has this knowledge and he said, hey, I'm going to eat it. This is a great fruit. That's why it's called king fruit. Okay, so that's the very first link of 12 links that depend on origination. But from the aggregate standpoint, it tells you about the Sankara Khana reacting, okay, memory, Sanya Khana, right? Experience of feeling, Vedana Khana, right? So there are many khanas which are obvious here. Now, the other khanas are there too, but it's not that obvious. But those three are very obvious here. So whenever you look at something in life, you should be able to judge from this 12 links of dependent origination standpoint and 5 khanda standpoint. Only then you can tell yourself, I know Buddhism well. Okay, so here, Awasia, lack of knowledge, Vichya lead you to Sankara react. Lack of knowledge leads you to react, but if you do have knowledge, you're not going to react. Instead, you will intellect. Now, whenever you react, it will give you a type of mental energy. A mental energy just happened. Any moment you react. Now that mental energy will give you the new mind and body receptors. So the moment that you are, let's say this is the very first time you smell this fruit, whether you react like this or like this, it gives you a mental energy and it changes your receptors, ready for next time. Now, next time, you haven't even got the smell. Let's say you're just looking at the fruit, your receptors are already ready. You're already almost thinking about puking. Okay. Now, is there a smell yet? No, it's just a picture. All right. So that's how the 12 links of dependent origination, that's how our body and mind works. So lack of knowledge leads you to react, give you to energy, a mental energy that change your mind and body receptors. Now that mind and body receptor also change your sixth sense organs, and they modulate, means they change those sixth sense organs. All right. If you recall the Korean movie that I show you when I was teaching this 12 links of dependent origination, right? Now, the first sin doesn't make the novice change that much, but when he see again and again, his receptor becomes stronger and stronger. So that's how it changes this, your mind and body receptor or sixth sense organ receptor. So let's recall the very first game that you ever played. Now, the very first game you played, whoa, I like this, right? You're not that attached yet, but you want to play again. You play second time, you become more hooked to it. Third time, fourth time. After a while, you will even yell at your mom for not giving you that tablet because you're so attached, because it changed your receptor. It changed your mindset, right? So that's what happened. Your mind and body receptor gets right to sixth sense organ modulation. Now, first saw sixth sense organ context respective stimuli. Next time you just see it, smell it, hear it, taste it, it gives you very strong feeling or experience. That gives you experience of feeling. Now, that experience gives you to craving. You can't help anymore. You want to eat that chocolate again and again and again. You want to play that game again and again and again, right? When you get older, that could be smoking, that could be drug, that could be alcohol, that could be sex. You become crave to that. I am craving for that, right? It will become even stronger, give rise to clinging. I have to have it. You're addicted to it, right? I have to have that food. I have to have my chocolate. I have to have my game. I have to have my phone. I have to have my tablet. I have to have my boyfriend. I have to have my girlfriend. I have to have this toy, this car, this house. That's how you cling to it. Now that clinging will leads you to a new formation. New formation of what? Well, new formation of your new life, okay? You become a little monster, okay? You become a greedy person. You become a mean person, all right? Or talking about life, it could become a new birth. But whenever there is a new birth, it will lead you to old age, suffering, death, so on and so forth. Now, that's the 12 links of dependent origination. Now, let's look at it again. Okay, I want you to look at these 12 and think about 5 aggregates. Which aggregates do you notice in number 1? Simple, right? This is Sankara. So that is the Sankara Kanda or aggregate of reaction. What about here? Andrew, which kanda do you notice here on second link of dependent origination?
Is it Rupa Kanda?
Note that here. What do you see?
Oh, Vinyana Kanda.
Of course, here, right? Sankara kanda, Vijnana kanda, right? Okay. Sarah, which kanda do you notice here in number 3? Here, Rupa kanda, right? So Nama Rupa. So it's a part of Rupa kanda. What about in number 4, Miranda?
Rupa Kanda.
Very good. So Salayatana also is part of the Rupa kanda, right? Salayatana means your 6 sense organs. 6 sense organs are part of your Rupa kanda. Right? Now, what about here, number 5? Sophia Tom. Asa here is which kanda? Rupa kanda. Okay, so Pasa here is the touch. So basically also it's a Rupa kanda, right? So the respective stimuli will touch to the receptors, your mind and body receptors, right? So that's also Rupa kanda. All right, Thomas, number 6. Which aggregates do you see here, number 6?
Pasa Faya Vedana.
The Vedana kanda, right? The experience of feeling aggregate, Vedana kanda. Okay, so next one. Tanna. Tanna is craven. So which kanda do you think will play here?
Experience. Sense memory.
So for you to be craven and clinging, okay, after the Vedana kanda, you need your memory, right? So your sanya kanda will play here. Okay, without the sanya, nothing will happen. Well, it's an experience, but you don't judge whether it's good or bad or neutral, right? So when you have this craving and clinging, you have some memory or sanya kanda. Right, so that's how you need to understand the 12 links of dependent origination and the 5 aggregates. Right, this might be a little advanced for some of you, but you'll get a little clearer a little later. So let's look at it. You have seen this slide before. So ayadana or salayadana. Okay, so when you look at it, the salayadana. Salayadana is a combination of sa and ayadana. Okay, ayadana and sa means 6. Okay, ayadana means sense organ. Six sense. So all sense of sense spaces, your eyes and any object that you see. Now, in Buddhism, yes, you can see any object, but are you attached to any object that you see? No. If you just see a bunch of trees on your way to school, what are the chances that you will be attracted to one of those trees? Very low, right? Well, there may be some weird tree that you like, but nobody's crazy about I have to have that tree and let go dig it and move it to my house. No. Right? But if you see a beautiful dog, cute cat, right? A car, a bike, a house, a boyfriend, girlfriend, yes, definitely. Right? So when we say aggregate or the kanda, we're talking about something that you could be attached to, something that you could be clinging to. Those are things that make you to go rounds and rounds in samsara. Okay, so that in Buddhism, we call it upadana kanda. Okay, the kandas or the aggregates that make us to be clinging. Now, if you don't cling to it, doesn't matter for you. Let's say there's a beautiful actress. Everybody's crazy about her, but I don't really care. Does it matter to me? Not really. I don't even know who she is. All right. It doesn't matter how beautiful she is because I don't want to think about it. And I will never cling to that girl. Does it matter? No. Instead of that girl, I might be attached to my phone and I can be clinging and I get attached to it. Right? That kind of kanda is called upadana kanda. Now in Buddhism, we want you to focus on things that you could be attached to. Okay, so we want you to focus on upadana kanda, meaning the kanda or the aggregate that you can potentially attach to, you can potentially cling to. So I and any visible object that can make you to attach to. For example, some of you play Fortnite. Okay, Fortnite for you is something that you attach to, right? Or Minecraft. Okay, whichever game that you like. For me, it doesn't really matter because I don't like games. I'm an old guy, right? For you, that game is a upadana kanda. For me, means nothing, right? So when we talk about sense space or six senses or six pairs of sense spaces, those has to be something that you could attach to. Okay, called upadana kanda. Same thing, the sound, right? Some of you like Jelana or whoever, or anyone that you are attached to. I don't know anything about these famous singers these days. So if I hear those songs, I'm not attached to those, but you will be, right? That's the upadana kanda. Same thing with the nose and the smell, tongue and the taste, the body and the touch, mind and your mental object. So whenever that happened, whenever you are attached to, be careful, right? So this guy is not liking it, right? But this guy is really liking it. So yes, he is reacting. He is reacting. But which one likely will have upadana kanda? This one, right? He is going to be attached to this popsicle, whereas this guy is going to run away.
No, I think that's the reaction of like ooh.
Right, it is reaction. So both of them are having what kind of kanda? When they react, it's a sankara kanda, right? Both of them are having sankara kanda. They're reacting. So, oh, I like this. What a great taste. Oh my God, oh, yucky, I'm going to run away. Doesn't matter, right? You see, these aggregates or kandas happen in us every moment. But there are moments that you are attached to. There are moments that you know you're not going to be attached to, right? It doesn't matter, right? Some of you like Korean songs, some of you don't, right? Those of you who hear those K-pop songs, so you can't help listening. Some of you just, oh, I don't understand what they're talking about. I don't care, right? So, but if you're this boy, you might react differently. Oh, go kiss me. Oh, great, I like it, right? Then you're going to be attached, right? So the same thing with smell, songs, whatever you see. Now, these, if you are not attached to, if there's no chance that you will be clinging to, then we don't call it upadana kana. Then you don't have to worry about it, right? We worry about the upadana kana. Now, for that to happen, you need the contact of pasa, right? So that's why here, so here, salayatana, okay, the sixth sense, pisya pasa, pasa pisya vedana, vedana pisya tanha, tanha pisya upadana, right? So in here, those has to be this upadan. If you don't get upadan, you're fine. But if you get upadana kanda, any kanda with the upadan is bad. Okay. All right. All right. So we talked about all the S's. Right? These are irresistible basic instincts. If you attach to these, there's a very high chance that you will have upadana kana. Right? So, Eric, what are those S's? Could you read?
Sleep, stomach, strings, six senses, sight, sound, smell, sensuality, savor, and soul.
So if you are attached to sleep, some of you just want to sleep, don't want to wake up, you just want to be cuddling in the bed, especially on weekends, right? No good. Yes, you do need to sleep for certain hours, but if you're sleeping too much, that's a basic instinct that will pull you down. Your stomach, basically your tongue, your taste, salty food, sour food, spicy food, right? So strings mean attachment, attached to sense, pleasure, sex, then you're in trouble, right? These six senses, sight, sound, smell, sensuality, savor, soul. So if all these S hit you, you'll be in that word. I'm not going to talk about it, right? So try to understand, okay, I'm a little over on these, then I need to control myself. If you don't control yourself with these, your life will be this. So we also talk about the aggregate or the kana. So when we see things clumped together, so when you look at this guy, what does he see? The cup. What else?
The coffee.
The coffee.
The spoon.
The spoon, right? So he is looking at the cup, the coffee, and the spoon. Is there a chance that he might be attached to one of this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, of course, right? He might like the cup. Oh, this is my cup. My girlfriend gave it to me. My mom gave it to me. Oh, this is a spoon that I had when I was born, right? Or at least he might be really attached to coffee, right? So what do you think is happening in his mind the moment that he sees this cup? How many candles are happening, Marina, here? Does he have Rupa Khanna here? Yeah. Yes, of course, right? So because this image come into his sense organ here to his eye, right? Is he having any Vedana Khanna? Senya Khanna? So first we'll get the Senya Khanna, right? Oh, this is coffee. I like it. Now he already probably is watering, some saliva already coming out of his mouth because he wants to drink that coffee. So is he already having some experience feeling Vedana Khanna? Yes, right? So he has Rupa Khanna, Senya Khanna, Vedana Khanna. The moment that he is kind of like, coffee, I like it. So he's already reacting, that's Sankara Khanna, right? Then Vijnana Khanna. So all 5 khandas are happening there, right? Now, if you're a doctor, a scientist, a biologist, you'll be focusing on here. Oh, this, a light source hitting this spawn and the cup and this liquid come in and hitting, going through the lens in the eye and going to the back of the eye to the retina and sending the signal to the brain and see this. Okay, so if you're a pure scientist focusing just on how it works, you don't have time to think about getting attached to this. Is that correct? Yeah, if that moment, that's what you're looking at. Now, if you even want to go really deeper, you can go to the receptor levels here. Okay, so now, if you just look at it from that standpoint, you will not be attached. Now, if you're not attached, you're not generating that upadana khanna. Okay, so that's how you get closer and closer and closer to ultimate truth. Now, that's why understanding science, understanding medicine is closer to ultimate truth. Okay. Now, the same thing with the smell, right? So if that guy was smelling coffee and having all these 5 khandas, now, if you look at it, okay, these smell molecules, the scent molecules are going there, touching the receptor at the back of the nose, called smell receptor, sending that signal to the brain. Okay, so for example, especially for you girls, you see a beautiful flower. What happened to you? You suddenly see a very beautiful flower that you like. You really want it, right? You at least go want to touch it. Some of you even want to pick it, right? You go close to that flower and smell it. You become attached to it. Whereas if you're a scientist, say, okay, the smell molecules are coming and through the air and coming into my nose, okay, touching the receptor at the olfactory valve, and the nerve are carrying to the brain. Okay, interpreting, oh, this is the smell of the rose, right? So these receptors, right, are odorant here. So the smell of the rose here, come and lock in, boom here, then generate signals, go to the brain. Now, if you understand this, now that's the science. Now, that's what Buddhism wants you to understand too, and not attach to it. Now, if you're a scientist, if you're a doctor, you still go understand this and still could be attached. Now, if you're a lay person, let's say you're not a doctor yet, you don't know these yet, then very good chance that you will be attached to this rose. Now, let's see some of your parents are doctors. I am a doctor. I understand about this. Still, I could be attached to this, right? Just because I understand this doesn't necessarily mean that I will not be attached to this, right? That's the difference between science and Buddhism. Buddhism not only understand this, but also teach you not to generate upadana khandha or attachment or clinging, right? Now, if you don't understand this process, and by teaching of Buddha, even if you don't understand this science process, or you don't meditate hard enough and don't understand, but you try not to get attached to it, that's okay too. But it is better if you understand this step also. That way you are educated and you will not be attached. How many of you are attached to the taste of a lime or lemon? You may not be attached, but you really like it. The moment that you see even the picture of a lime or lemon, your mouth starts watering, right? Now, close your eyes and check yourself. After looking at the picture of this picture, your mouth already watering. Raise your hand if your mouth is already watering a little bit. No one. That's amazing.
I think that nobody likes to eat those
Okay, so
in this country.
maybe the picture is not that attractive for you. So look at it. When you have a bunch of limes, when you go to a store with your mom or dad, when you see all these limes and lemons, and check yourself whether your mouth already start watering or not. Okay, now initially it could be the taste, but later it doesn't have to be the taste. The moment that you see the lime or the lemon, your mouth started watering. All right. Yes, if you are a scientist or if you understand biology from school, or if you're a doctor, you understand the process, how it works. Okay, so depending on the food, right, you may be attached to it. Now, Buddhism does not want you to attach to it. Buddhism wants you to understand the process. You may still eat, but do not get attached to it. Right? That's what it means by salayatana bisya paso, pasa bisya vedana, vedana bisya dana, dana bisya upadana. So understanding these 6 sense organs or the special senses will be very good. So those of you who are going to be in high school, or some of you even in middle school, will learn about these special senses. When you learn about these receptors, okay, you will understand better about how these attachment works, how these attachments work. But you as a Buddhist, even higher, okay, when you go through any of these potential things that can make you attached, whether that be a song or a smell or a game or opposite sex or drug, alcohol or smoking, if you understand that this is something that I could attach to, I should not, then you will be able to stop earlier without even touching it. Okay, if not, your life will be attached to bad things. So try to understand these special sense organs when you learn at school. Okay, when you get to high school, you definitely will be learning about these special senses. Some of you who are just in middle school does the Science Olympiad and will learn through these different special sense organs. Then you will understand how this works. But again, another layer, you as a Buddhist, try to understand this process, plus do not get attached to things that you should not. Okay, that will you prevent upadana khandha. Okay, So now going back to this picture. What khandhas are there? Miranda. What khandhas are happening in these people?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure. Dutch?
Vedana.
Vedana? Okay, very good. Why? Why do you say they're having Vedana?
Because they're having a pleasant sensation.
They're having a pleasant sensation. Okay, you can imagine these guys are trying to kiss each other, right? Even though it looks ugly and weird and disgusting, as some of you put it, right? So that there is definitely Vedana khandha, right? Experience. Kathleen.
I think Sankhana.
Sankhara khandha? Yeah. So they are generating sankhara. I mean, they're looking at each other, right? With their eyes wide open, right? So that's the sankhara khandha. Good. What else, Yeri?
Yes. We already went.
Rupa khandha, of course, right? Rupa khandha is the six sense organs. Through the six sense organs, there is phassa, there's touch, there's contact, right? There is contact already here. That's a touch base, right? Skin to skin, right? Touch base happening. So that's the Rupa khandha. So whenever there is something like this, all the five khandhas are happening every moment. Okay, so every moment you look at it, all five khandhas happen. The only difference is people don't even know that those are happening and they become attached. So now that you understand about khandhas and 12 links of dependent origination, what I want you to do is I want you to show this picture to your parents again and discuss with them. Now, those of you who already showed this picture to your parents and your parents told you that this is disgusting, this is weird. Now, you teach them how you should look at it. You explain to them what this picture represents, why the ears and the eyes, the nose, and the lips and the tongues and hands are big, right? So, and explain to them about the five khandhas, and even explain about the 12 links of dependent origination. Right? Now, when you look at this picture, if you see disgusting, if you see weird, now you're at the level of the conventional truth, right? So as a Buddhist, we want you to get to the ultimate truth level. We want you to look at it from the five aggregates, 12 links of dependent origination. We want you to break it down, all these gana. We talk about the samuha gana, sansati gana, kesa gana, aramana gana, all these ganas, right? So how should you see it? How should you look at this picture or this guy and woman or girl? Go ahead, Dad. Anyone? Make it simple. Some of you are very good at puzzles. Raise your hand if you're really good at solving the just solve puzzles. Some of you. Right, yeah, this. So rather than seeing like this, you should see like a different pieces, like just solve puzzles, all 32 body parts. So this is how you as problem solver should look at it, breaking it apart. But as a Buddhist, we look at it with 32 body parts. Okay, now this guy is attached to this girl is attached to this guy. They are generating all these sankharas, right? They're having all these attachment, craving, clinging, called upadana kana. Now, we all are designed to be like this. Whether you like it or not, you gotta accept that. All of us are just like this, right? You might think that that's weird, but it's you, right? You are either here or here, right? Because your hand, you touch, you take things, you use a lot, right? You don't use your foot too much, but you use your hands a lot. Your eyes, your nose, your ears, your lips, your mouth. And as I said before, your private organs later down the line. Now that's you, right? You might not like it, and you might not want to accept this is you, but it is a reality. It is you. But if you don't want to be in that person, if you don't want to go round and round in samsara, this attachment or craving called upadana kama, you're going to break it, right? Breaking it could be as simple as breaking like different pieces, like just solve puzzle, or Legos. Some of you are really good at Legos, I know, right? Now, let's say you have a picture of a Lego build up a house. You can break into different pieces. There will be thousands of pieces, right? You put it back together. Now that's how you should look at your body or someone else's body or these guys, which is you. Break it down, make it into pieces of Lego. Now Buddhism go that detail to the level of clappers, even smaller than your Legos. But initially, before you get to that level, because to get to that level, you're going to have a lot of concentration, a lot of meditation. But this level of 32 body parts is very easy, right? We recite that every night we pray, right? So if you look at it, ooh, that's scary, ugly, nasty. But it's in you. It is you. Right? Now, if you attach to an opposite sex, and if you peel that opposite sex layer by layer like this, the chance of you getting attached to that person will be a lot less. Right? But it is not zero because we are built to get attached to things. Now, not to get attached, the only way is through practice in Buddhism and meditation. Right? Over here, I'm just giving you the concept. Every day you pray and you recite 32 body parts. Yes, you guys memorize it and you're praying and reciting, but you're still attached to things that you shouldn't. Right? Because you're at the level of knowledge. You're not at the level of wisdom. But that's where the 32 body parts play here. Right? Now, you may be this level at most of the time. There are times that you may be this level or this level. Okay. But later down the line, the more you meditate, you will become higher and you will be at the level of calipers, where you see actual receptors, just like we see in the labs, in the science lab. But so far, if you can just break it down to 32 body parts level, you are doing great. Okay, so that's how you should look at it. You should break those aggregates. Now the 5 khandhas or 5 aggregates are like clamped together. You're gonna break it apart, just like Legos, right? Just like jigsaw puzzles. Now those of you who are very good at jigsaw puzzle or Legos, you have an inborn gift to be able to see this, right? Those of you who are not that interested in Lego or jigsaw puzzle, you have a little less gift. But those of you who are really good at the jigsaw puzzle Legos, you're in a better position to understand this. Okay. All right. Now, I explained to you about understanding our body and potential attachment with the computer, right? The 5 aggregates is very similar to 5 parts of the computer. Computer as a whole is like our whole body. The input devices are like our Rupa Khandha, input information. Okay, the 6 sense organs, or the feeling, or the experience. The Sanya Khandha is storage of memory, right? The output, the newly formed memory. Now that's compared to a computer. Now, when we talk about memory, if you really want to look at it from the science standpoint, we have explicit memory, something that you consciously have to work to remember, like your school homework. Now, implicit memory is something that you don't have to work hard, right? Like a song. We don't want to talk about Bruno.
It
Right?
doesn't go like
Do-
that.
Do you have to study and try to memorize that song?
Yeah.
Not really. It just comes to your head like boom, 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 again and again, automatically, right? Whereas your teacher asks you to memorize a passage or a poem or a math formula or as a theory, then I can get it right, right? Whereas these songs, like whichever song that I just sung that you guys are singing these days all the time, that is the implicit memory, right? Info, remember, unconsciously and effortlessly, right? So I have seen a lot of students, if they sing a song, oh my goodness, they memorize it like that. And the same information I told them as a paragraph, they just can memorize. Okay, so that's the implicit and explicit memory. Okay, so now that's how our brain works, right? We have sensory input, we have sensory memory. Then with the attention, get to short-term memory, then get to long-term memory, okay? Now in science, we know which area of our brain takes care of which memory. For example, the explicit memory that you really need to memorize, like lectures, theories, formulas, okay? Go through hippocampus, neocortex, amygdala. Those are names that you'll get familiar to when you learn anatomy in high school or college. Now, implicit memory is through your basal ganglia, cerebellum, and prefrontal cortex, or this area. Okay, so anatomy and physiology is very interesting. Okay, whether you look at it from the science standpoint or the Buddhism standpoint. Now, when you understand that, I want you to compare between these three: a computer, the medical science, and the Buddhism. All right. Now, if you don't have any knowledge of any of these, as the face value, all you see is a computer is a computer, right? It's either a little box or a screen. That's when you hear the word computer, that's what you visualize. Your image in your memory come up is a box, a square, a screen, or a keyboard, right? But if you know a little deeper, so okay, what is important are the input devices. And through the input devices, what information I put in. Remember, I explained to you about garbage in, garbage out. If you're putting in garbage information, the computer will give you the garbage stuff. If you're putting in good information, the computer will give you the good stuff, right? What is important in the computer is the memory. Then you get the output, then a newly formed memory, right? So that's how computer works. So if you want to become a computer engineer, and if you want to be good at the computer science, you need to know all this in detail. Now, when you look at, if you want to be, oh, I'm not interested in computers and all this engineering stuff. I want to be a doctor or a medical professional of whichever choice you have. As a face value, you look at someone, you just see the whole body, right? Male, female, old, young, girl, boy, that's all you see. But if you break it down at the Rupa Khanda level, or in science, it will be matter aggregate, you see, oh, there are 6 sense organs, right? Then that's the level of stimulants and receptors, just like here. Right? The explicit memory and implicit memory that we just talked about. Then, oh, these are the symptoms of the disease process. Oh, these are the symptoms when you get when you are hungry, right? When you're angry. So the symptoms and behavior. And then new receptor, new antibody formation. Now that goes through Rupa Khanda, Vedana Khanda, Sanya Khanda, Sankara Khanda, Vijnana Khanda. Now, it doesn't matter whether you are a computer specialist or a doctor or any profession, the deeper you understand, the smarter you are. But this will not lead you to liberation or nirvana. This will not lead you to liberation or nirvana either. But seeing the parallel will help you, right? But as a Buddhist, whenever you see someone or yourself, you got to understand that that is the combination of 5 khandas or 5 aggregates. Okay, and there we have Rupa Khanda, mainly the 6 senses, the ayatana. The Vedana Khanda, the experience of feeling. There are a few new terms, but you already knew some of those. Sukha, the pleasant experience, the pleasant Vedana. Okay. Now, Vedana does not mean suffering. Vedana means experience. Okay. Sukha, pleasant. Dukkha, unpleasant. Okay. Adukkha Masukha is neither pleasant nor unpleasant. Okay, so there are 3 types of Vedana. Okay, now Sanya Khanda is Sanya based on the past 6 senses. Now the Sanya also depends on these 6 senses. You will notice that everything goes back to 6 senses. Okay, now Sankhara, reaction, or you're doing it as a present karma. Karma means you're doing it. You're doing it right now. That is the sankhara. Okay. Now the present could become future, okay, down the line, or the present will become past for the future. The vijnana khanda, your mind and energy formation. Now, if you practice Buddhism, what you need to do is you need to understand the 5 aggregates. You need to understand these khandhas. Okay, these aggregates and khandha. You need to break it down, the gana. Okay, gana, khanda, aggregates, they're very similar. You need to break it down to these levels, 32 body parts level, receptor levels, okay? 12 links of dependent origination level, the Kalapas level. Now, breaking it down to the smallest level and understanding how these works, understanding how these khandhas work in detail, that is the Abhidhamma. Now, I have been discussing about what Abhidhamma is, and this is just the beginning. Okay, I haven't even started the Abhidhamma yet at all, right? Abhidhamma, basically, Buddha teach about how to break down this Rupa Khanda, this Vedana Khanda, Sanya Khanda, Sankhara Khanda, Vijnana Khanda in detail. Only then you will really understand about the law of karma, about the 12 links of dependent origination. Okay, only then you can say, oh, I understand Abhidhamma. Only then you can say, I'm a Buddhist. Only then you will be on the right path to liberation. Right? We're going to stop here tonight. Thank you.